So, you want to play the game? I am the gatekeeper! I rule this game!
Hey! Shut the fuck up!
I've got a little anecdote to share with you all, so listen closely. See, growing up in the US of A, there was always one particular place that served as a paradise for establishing a sense of community and cooperation. The McDonald's Play Place. I believe every well-adjusted child can relate to the experience of entering the play place, forming unbreakable bonds with other children whose names you never even bothered to learn, and then leaving to never see those dearest companions ever again. It was an essential piece of development for a young boy. Now, I, along with all the other 8-year-olds, had a tendency to be very territorial about the play place. If you were a girl, had a weird facial deformity, or were just generally a dickhead, you were forbidden from intermingling with everyone else and shunned to that one isolated cubicle in the corner. Our parents would then yell at us for being discriminatory and refuse to buy us ice cream. One fateful day, this slightly overweight boy with a lot of snot dripping down his face and a grating voice wanted to play with us, and we quickly told him no. However, whether it was a sudden growth in maturity or sheer pity, we soon changed our minds and decided to let the snotty boy join in our epic game of hide-and-seek. We had overcome the curse of play place prejudice by allowing those of different appearances, attitudes, and personalities to join us hand in hand, united. And you know what happened after that? He took a shit in the slide, and I went down the slide, face first. This is what happens when you fail to gatekeep. You get a face full of shit. Today I'm cosplaying as Switzerland by taking a neutral stance on a controversial issue. That of course being gatekeeping. What's gatekeeping? It's when you say go away. Typically when someone tries to infiltrate your niche community of Pez collectors. Or anything else you like.
Gaming!
I like many things. But do I consider myself an avid fan to the point where I transform myself into a vocal superfan broadcasting myself to every other fan? Fuck no. The idea of fandom itself disgusts me. I watch anime because I want to experience joy, not to bitch and moan on forums or subreddits about it, because that's the opposite of joy. That is hell. But this is the internet. If you want to get the most out of your browsing experience, surrounding yourself with like-minded posters that provide you with fan-generated material that reaffirms your love for a show, movie, video game, album, or serial is the greatest way to maximize the potential for collaborative enterprise the internet was built around. But this brings us to the tragic reality of the human race. Some people are bad. Sometimes it's for reasons beyond their control, but many of them simply reject the notion of self-reflection. And who can blame them? Self-reflection makes you hate yourself. You're awesome. Never let anyone tell you otherwise. There's nothing wrong with you. Everyone else, however, they're fucking stupid. And you gotta let them know that.
You're retarded.
Now, there are both good and bad reasons to gatekeep. A bad reason would be matters like age. Don't get me wrong, 14-year-olds are insufferable and need to be exterminated. They can't even spell, probably because they're slacking off during 8th grade English class to post about how much they want to put their dicks in a wall socket. But if you're over the age of 18, then I see no valid reason for why you shouldn't be allowed to at least explore the vast communities that offer a platform for expression. Many times you'll encounter a bitter batch of 39-year-olds that resent the fact that they're turning into their Gen X parents and vent their frustrations on anyone younger than 27 for not knowing what Marmalade Boy is. But they're not worth fretting over. Getting old makes you resentful. It happens to the best of us. However, it is an extremely crucial and oft-neglected branch of online courtesy to put forth the effort in studying, absorbing, and effectively understanding the culture, lingo, and underlying attitudes of a community before you even think about trying to post amongst them. In the ancient tongues, this was called lurkmore. And holy shit is it a lost art.
Base!
base, cringe, cringe, base, cringe, 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 base, cringe.
その周囲に合わせようとするのやめてくれるかしら。ひどく不愉快だわ。
When an unlearned newcomer tries to ingratiate himself in a place without properly appreciating the values that make the community what it is, he is setting himself up for inevitable humiliation and death threats. Taking the time to grasp the fundamental values and customs of a community and how they interpret whatever show or hobby you're interested in is how you acquire the keys to the gate. If you personally disapprove of that community's culture, maybe you should find another one. Vacuumfuckers.org is not for everybody, and that's okay. You don't need to feel compelled to insert yourself into every corner of the web you come across. Sometimes, though, there are people that join a community and have no respect for its values. They want it to conform to what their values are. Some people just want to poison the water hole.
So, not only are we going to take down 4chan, we're going to take down Funny Junk and Reddit as well. Or as I like to call them, the triad of evil.
This is the age of everything is political, and if it isn't political, then by God, we're gonna make like Drake and find a way. I'm not explicitly referring to discourse about right and left beliefs. I'm talking about the injection of personal politics into subjects that have nothing to do with the junk they're being contaminated with. We need an example. Azumanga Daioh is my favorite thing in the universe. This and Yotsuba are the only things that still give me unconditional joy. I have sat back with my eyelids sealed open and watched this series I love be molested by a swarm of the worst people on the face of the internet. It was tragic enough when you had every fat fetishist or sexual maverick on DeviantArt making me want to feed my eyes to the crows. But now there's full-blown cyber warfare between those 39-year-olds I brought up earlier and the new crops of teenagers discovering not just Azumanga, but a plethora of other older titles and subsequently applying whatever demented new age politics their brains are fixated on to the show. Delusional Yuri shipping wars, accusations of bigotry, which is basically just the big boy name for gatekeeping nowadays, weird trans discourse, I don't even know where this came from, and just people being generally the most obnoxious shits to ever access a keyboard. It went from annoying to just flat out demoralizing. Sometimes it can be pretty funny to watch shit hit the fan though. I saw full-blown race wars break out over the decline of Haruhiism. What are we doing with ourselves?
Disgusting black creatures, get out of my sight.
This is not isolated to my own interests. It expands to the entire Western following for anime and other international art mediums at large. It wasn't enough to just indulge in a series and say, "Oh, I like that. Okay, now which of these girls do you want to lick your penis?" It just branched off into this monstrous attempt to exert control and influence over something that, even as the culture wars show no signs of mollifying, you still have absolutely no control or influence over whatsoever. The Japanese don't give a fuck about any of us or whatever insanity we post in the vacuums of our online platforms. This is like pigs arguing amongst themselves about what they think the texture of the slop tossed into their troughs should be, as if the farmer gives a damn what he's feeding them. They're getting fed the same garbage every time no matter what. They can take it or leave it. So, what does this all say about gatekeeping? That it's pointless.
Get back! Wait!
It's important, and it serves a purpose in filtering those undesirables I've mentioned thus far. But 99% of the time, it doesn't even work. You have to go the nuclear route by making the world believe that every fan of the thing you like is a part of the Fourth Reich. Making your community look deplorable to outsiders is sadly the only way to keep it from being contaminated by people that want to stand on their soapbox and use an interest as a vehicle for spouting bullshit. Because who's gonna listen to them otherwise? Once upon a time, the internet was conceived as this revolutionary means of connecting the people of the world on a scale beyond imagination. It was an incredible new avenue for cooperative ingenuity, camaraderie, and the proliferation of different cultures to create a virtual utopia of varying attitudes and beliefs. However, the only thing we've learned for certain during the last 3 decades is how we as a species were never meant to fraternize. As time goes on, we deliberately isolate ourselves within our digital gated communities where we become immunized to the ideas and opinions of outsiders. And soon we lose the ability to distinguish between right and wrong and know only what we're encouraged to believe about not just ourselves, but the community we're now a part of. Everything I've said so far may be what I believe to be right, but I'm sure there are hundreds, if not thousands on the other side of the fence that look at things the exact opposite way. Who's in the wrong? It all depends on which side of the gate you're on. The only encouraging absolute that I can confidently offer is that enjoying things is good. Never feel like a schmuck for independently occupying yourself with shows, games, or whatever it is that makes you happy. But if that's not enough, and you feel compelled to surround yourself with like-minded individuals in the pursuit of self-assurance that what you like is the right thing to like, then please, don't shit in the slide. Because on a place as permanent as the internet, those stains can never be washed away.
These people are massively invading this world of the internet. Why? Tubes. The internet is tubes. Providers, consumers, movies delivered to your house. Big truck, small business,